There we go. We're
And
live.
we're live. Look who's in the house. Jenn Lynn is in the house.
And Lucy.
And Lucy. Wow. Okay.
All the kitties have been running around. They're all like, what are you doing in the middle of the day going live?
Of course. And then you've gathered some of your pendulums and crystals and things, and they want to be, you've changed up the energy and they want to be around, right?
These are toys, like pendulums. Every time I try to use them, if the younger cats are around, I have to move them. Even Lucy will play with them.
Yeah.
I can't. Okay. I cannot leave them out. I can't. Like little crystals on my table. I can't leave them out. They'll knock them off because they're assholes.
Yeah. Well, and then it's a great toy, right? We play with them. They want to play with them.
Even my bigger crystals, they'll knock them off and break them. I've had them break a few crystals.
Wow. Okay, so happy Labor Day, and Jen Lynn from Jen Lynn Tarot is here in case you've been living under a rock. She's a fabulous tarot reader. She does personal readings, and of course she's doing all of her political psychic tarot readings, and she was with Johnny and Becca last night on House of Lenormand. But tell everybody what's going on, what you've got going on in your channel, and readings available, and how they reach you, and
yeah, to schedule a reading, it all goes through my website, jenlyntarot.com. Make sure you spell Jen Lynn correctly with 2 N's and Jen. And everything is booked through that. It's 1 hour readings. I have a tendency to go a little bit over time, but it's 1 hour readings. I don't do half-hour readings anymore. And then I also am an energy healer. That's what when I went to Sedona with Linda G, I was teaching energy healing, which kind of surprised some people. They didn't know that I did that also, but I've done energy healing for over 35 years. So I can incorporate some energy work also into a reading if somebody has a request. It's hard though with energy healing. I never know, is it something I'm going to need to do repetition on, like work on them several times? Like cancer for me is not a one and done. When I work on somebody that has cancer, I have to go in there and keep pulling the cancer out and working on them. So energy healing, if someone's wanting like an energy healing session, the best way is probably to email me and let me figure out how I want to work on you.
Yeah, that's terrific. That's awesome. And you're trying to put together another get together, right?
I'm working on doing a solo seminar. I haven't worked out dates or anything yet, but when I get it worked out, I'll do a solo video to announce it, and it'll schedule through my website. And that's the other thing. The lady that helps me with my website that built it for me is working on setting up events in it so that I can set how many people can register for it and pay for it and everything.
Oh, okay. And you're going to do that by yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to do a solo event here eventually.
Okay, perfect. All right. And then I am also a healer and a Reiki master teacher, and I do other types of healing. Some are hands-on, some are hands-off, and I work through my prayers as well. That's why we always ask for the prayers. And I do use crystals, of course. And I have readings available. I have readings available even this week. And I do have interval readings available. So 15 minutes, half an hour, and you just go to thewayofpositivechange.com through my website, and you pick the day, the time, and whatever, and however you want to do your reading. All right. So let's see. I wanted to... Oh, I need to make a correction about something that I talked about. I talked about Joe Schmo. He's in our chat. He's in our family. He's on all your lives too. To follow him on Instagram, it's Mathison, MATHISON.Dave. So it's on Instagram. It's not Joe Schmo on Instagram. So I wanted to correct that. He did some really cool bowl ringing the other day.
Singing bowls.
Yep, Tibetans. He did Tibetans. And last Friday's reading, Prairie had asked whether DC or New York would have a tropical storm or hurricane. And I made a mistake of not separating the two cities. And I got the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Wands. So it's sort of like a brush or protection or a shelter, something like that. So I'm going to split those up in the next reading. So I just wanted to bring up those two things that I made boo-boos with. Okay, so why don't we start with, Jen, why don't we start with how you do your energy healings, or how you cleanse your crystals, or you program or cleanse or you clear the field, or what would you like to start with in that?
Let's start with healing in general, because there are so many modalities with healing. There are people, with energy healing. Reiki, everybody's heard of Reiki. Reiki's the most common form. They use symbols they focus on to move the energy. I use a breathing technique to channel the energy. So I pull more energy in than I need to send. I am not sending my own energy. And if I am having a personal health issue, like my back is acting up or something, I actually try to work on someone else, because the extra energy that I pull in when I'm sending energy to someone, it stays in my own body and it helps me. So I always feel better after I've worked on somebody doing energy healing. There's also people that use tuning forks. There's all different types of energy healers. So energy healing, depending on how they work, some people like to focus on specific colors, maybe working with the specific chakras. I do astral body healing. So the astral body, which is right here over the physical, has the memory of everything healthy. So I try to work from the astral body back into the physical when needed. It's not always needed, but when it's needed. So like if someone has cancer, I go in, I pull the cancerous cells out, and then I weave the memory of healthy cells from the astral body back in. So working from the astral back in. If somebody's body is out of alignment, kind of like going to a chiropractor for, you can actually feel the astral body turning when I'm working on you if you're sensitive. I work with a lot of guides. There's usually at least 10 pairs of hands on you when I'm working on you, because my guides and my angels and my astral hands are all there. So a lot of times, like, I like to work on people, on a massage table when I work in person. A lot of times people open their eyes and look around because they can't figure out where I am. They're like, are you at my feet or my head? Because they feel all these other hands on them.
Yeah, I get that frequently too.
Yeah. I work very closely with Archangel Raphael, who's the main angel of healing. Archangel Michael helps if there's a disease like cancer or Parkinson's or something like that. So I pull Archangel Michael in if I'm working on somebody that has a disease in conjunction with Raphael. But I do use crystals sometimes. For me, I am not as trained and versed in crystals as you are, so I go a lot of times with what I'm guided to use, or what's resonating, what's grabbing my attention. And no matter what crystal I'm using, if I've got a stone, I usually will hold the stone that I want to use in my right hand, and I use my astral hands like this, so I'm holding it like that. I will put a clear quartz in my left hand because it will amplify this one. So if I'm working with an amethyst, I'll hold the amethyst in my right hand, and I've got a clear quartz, and it doesn't have to be a big one. I hold a clear quartz in my left hand. It will amplify whatever's in my right hand and work on them. So I always, like, in my home, I always keep a clear quartz sitting next to my amethyst to amplify that healing energy, because to me it's the most healing crystal. They all heal, but it's like a great generic healing crystal. Like, it'll help with anything.
Okay, that's great. And then how do you cleanse the area or cleanse yourself after readings or healings? Or
I have a trick for smudging. Now, full moons and stuff, I will lay crystals in my windowsills sometimes, but now with the cats, I have to be careful because they knock them off. So sometimes I'll put them out on my side porch or something, But I have a trick that I do. I take a tea light holder. I take a burned, used tea light cup. So it's got a little bit of wax left in the bottom. I get out my big bag of sage, right? I get a little bit of a little twig of sage out of it, and I just crumble a few leaves into the bottom of it. I don't like smudge sticks because I can't control the smudge, and I always set off smoke alarms.
Yeah.
So I just put, I don't know if you can see this, just a little bit of dried sage in the bottom. The little bit of wax that's left in the tea light cup helps keep it smoldering longer.
Mm-hmm.
So I just light it. It's a little humid here today, so I'm having trouble getting it going.
Sure,
I get a little bit of a flame going, and then I just gently blow that flame out so I get it smoking. And I will either hold the stone over it or the pendulum over it. My cards, if I want to sage my cards, I'll hold my cards over the smoldering. You can set this on the floor at your feet and smudge the front of you, and then turn around, let it smudge up the back of you. So it's a great way for smudging your own body when you're by yourself. You don't have to have somebody else going around you smudging you. Whenever I move into a new home, I always go and I smudge every corner of the home. I smudge every room when I move in, clear out the energy of who lived there before. It does not get rid of spirits always. I have spirits, obviously, when I'm doing readings, right? I don't want to chase them away when I'm doing my mediumship. So intention is everything. If you hold the intention that it's going to kick a spirit out, yes, it will. But intention is everything. Intention is everything, whether you're reading cards, working with crystals. You know, if I intend for this clear quartz to amplify what I'm holding in my right hand, it's going to do it. And here comes the pendulum posse.
Pendulum posse. Awesome.
What do you find, Lori, is one of the best healing crystals? Like if somebody just wanted to buy one or two crystals, what's the first one that comes to mind that you would recommend someone gets?
I go with the real easy ones. You know, that's a great question. That it's clear quartz, of course, black tourmaline, and amethyst and selenite. Those are the top four. So black tourmaline, clear quartz, amethyst, and selenite. Yeah, because the black tourmaline has this great ability to just absorb the EMFs and the just all the gook, and it's very protective, and it acts like a negativity sponge, and it helps you stay calm, especially with the amethyst. You know, those are my two favorites. But I also think that's such a great question too, because if you want to just start with, and I don't like the word just, if you want to start with clear quartz and black tourmaline, with just those two, and you can program them. You know, you clear them like you just showed people. You clear them with your sage, or a little bit, if you don't like sage smoke, you can do a little bit of clear, cool water. So you
Except for, what is it, selenite, that you shouldn't put in water?
You don't just leave it in there. You can wash it. You can wash it with water. Yeah. And but you just run it over some clear water, or you can get the liquid sage spray. I think Adrian from Red Lentil Healing sells a really great liquid sage spray. And so you cleanse, clear, charge, and program your crystals. So after you cleanse it, you hold it in your left hand like you do, and you accept its energies, and you can program it with your intentions, exactly the way you were saying, what you intend for its ability, it to assist you with, and your guides and angels, and what this crystal means to you, and call in the energies and program it. And then if you want to recharge it, you can do it in the new moon and full moon, like you were saying, or in an electrical storm if you have a good thunderstorm coming, and even just a nice cleansing rain is very helpful.
Yeah, a lot of times my basic crystals, like I'll set them on my front steps or something, where the cats can't get to them. Let the moonlight hit them and the
Mhm.
rain and stuff.
Yeah. All
And
right.
I love keeping dark colored stones like black obsidian or
Mhm.
tiger's eye,
Mhm.
those darker stones for grounding.
Yes.
Because I'm lifting up all the time doing mediumship,
Right.
so to get back grounded back in my body, I like keeping a dark stone around.
Yeah. The black tourmaline, obsidian, jet, onyx. I'm just my two favorite are the black tourmaline and the obsidian of the blacks for the grounding.
I used to always wear like the beaded bracelets, that are
Mhm.
so popular. I used to
Yeah.
always wear darker ones to work when I worked in the corporate world, because you're around all those different energies, and some people can be very difficult and stuff, and I needed to stay grounded in the corporate world, so I'd always have on a darker colored beaded bracelet at work.
Very helpful. And you could set a black tourmaline right on your desk and amethyst to keep everybody calm. And then I also wanted to ask you, oh, you talked about intention. Oh, do you use your pendulum in your healings?
I do occasionally use them when I'm doing healing, and I use them occasionally in readings, especially if I'm doing if somebody wants a past life reading. I'll validate with my pendulum what I'm hearing, what I'm getting in clairaudience.
Mhm.
um, I have quite a few pendulums. For healing, I have what's called a healer's quartz. It's kind of a mustardy golden color. It is my favorite pendulum for body health questions. I do not use it for, validating past life or anything like that. I use this only if it's a health related question. So if I'm like, is it vitamin D out of balance? It'll give me the yes nos. For those who have never bought a pendulum before, it's really hard to buy online. Um, I highly recommend trying them out, like going to a shop and trying them out, because some pendulums don't react for me. And I want to get the best one that'll react for me. So I always start with, I'm right-handed. This one has a little ball on the end, so I loop it over my fingers just gently and relax. And the first thing I do is ask it to show me yes. And for this pendulum, yes is back and forth. And then I ask it to show me no. And then I ask it to show me maybe or in a roundabout way.
Mhm.
And this one, as you can see, goes in a circle when I do that. I have different pendulums that work differently, but most of them for me will go back and forth, yes, no, that way. But between each question, it's really important. Like I have this beautiful one that has a amethyst on it, or not amethyst, sorry, sapphire on it. Um, Not sapphire. What is it? Lapis lazuli. Hello.
There you go.
The other blue stone,
Right.
lapis lazuli. Um, Between each question, in my mind, I don't say it out loud, but in my mind, I run my finger and thumb down the chain between each
Mhm.
question, and I say clear, and I clear the previous question out of it. And I think that intention is very strong, because a lot of people will get like, can you project into a pendulum? There's a big yes. If I want to make
Mhm.
it say yes, I can make it say yes.
Sure.
You, I like to be 2 feet on the floor, grounded, to use a pendulum, and I like to clear the energy between each question. You'll see me run my finger down the chain, and the intention is I'm clearing the previous question, clear, and clearing the energy on the crystal. So intention is everything. The clear quartz crystals you see a lot. You'll see all metal ones, all copper or all metal pendulums.
Pendulums. Yeah.
Use what reacts for you.
Yeah.
And it may take you a while to find the one that works for you. If I pick up a clear quartz and I'm getting very little movement, I'm like, that's not my crystal. If I pick up a clear quartz and I start getting like this big swing, I'm like, there's my crystal. There's my pendulum.
Yeah. That's great. Great advice. Okay, so I've
Do
got a
you
couple. Go
do you
ahead.
use pendulums?
Yes, I especially use them in healing work. I also, if I think something's upsetting my stomach, I'll take my pendulum and I'll go over the foods or medicines that I'm currently taking and ask if, sort of like kinesiology through your pendulum, and I'll ask, is this specific mineral helpful to me? Is it helping my body?
Mhm.
And then I look for the yes or no. And of course, mine are programmed, just like yours. And or I'll use it in a healing session, and I'll go over every single chakra while a person is laying on the massage table, or I'll draw a picture of them um, on my tablet, and
Mhm.
and with their name above it, and I'll go over the chakras, and it will give me, it's clockwise if it's open and working well, and then it'll be erratic if it isn't
Yeah.
working well. So I get a really good idea of exactly where the person is storing some stuck stuff.
Yeah, my healer quartz pendulum, if I have someone on a massage table or if I'm working remotely, it does a crazy thing. It'll do like a half swing, like to the left or to the right. So it'll tell me left side or right side.
Mm-hmm.
It does these half swings, which my other pendulums don't do. So that's another reason I keep this one purely for when I'm working on someone's body, as a tool in that, because it'll steer me. I also I get twinges in my own body to tell me where to work on someone. I'll hear things, I'll smell things. Like if somebody has a urinary tract problem, I'll smell cat pee. Yeah, so my guides will use every sense available to me to get a message to me to tell me where to work on someone.
Amazing. That's great.
If
Yeah.
somebody has something wrong in their blood, I get a metallic taste in my
Metallic.
mouth.
Yep.
Yeah, if you've ever cut
Every
your
time.
finger and sucked on it, blood has a metallic taste.
Mm-hmm. Sandra Nevins asked, can you make your own pendulum? And the answer is yes. Yeah. You can use a favorite one. Use it, make it out of something that you own, that's just yours, not a piece of jewelry from someone else, but you can use a crystal
Yeah,
on
I've
a
used
necklace.
necklaces
Yeah.
before that had a pendant on them. I've
Mm-hmm.
actually taken a necklace off and used it, or a keychain. Pretty much anything with intention will work as a pendulum.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then Joe Schmo had a question I wanted to direct your way. How or what's the best way to boomerang your healing energy back to yourself? Like, especially if you're sending it out to others, and what's a good way to get it to come back to yourself?
Well, for me, it's a mute point because I'm not channeling and sending my own energy. I'm channeling pure white light, God's
Mm-hmm.
love, chi or ki, whatever you want to call it, universal energy.
Mm-hmm.
I am not sending my own energy. So, like I said in the beginning, I'm pulling more energy in than I need to send, and I'm like a vessel. It's just going through me. I'm pulling
Right.
it in and sending it out.
Right.
So I don't have to bring my own energy back to me. Now, as far as my own
And I
energy,
think he's asking about any energy that you're sending,
yeah,
channeling, sending. Yeah.
for me, like I don't like anyone to plug into me, and I can feel when somebody's trying to suck, energy vampires trying to suck my energy, or uh those people that are I call them the needy people that are like constantly trying to get your attention. They just suck your
Mm-hmm.
energy. And I'll do saging with intentions, and I will um picture my energy, my auric field sealed from them, and I'll take a saber knife, in my mind's eye
Mm-hmm.
intention, and cut any cords of anybody trying to plug into me. For me, like, a lot of people, you feel it in those cords from the solar plexus that connect us, to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it on my shoulder blades when somebody's like sucking my energy. I feel all tight like an octopus is on my shoulder blades. I'm like, oh, somebody's plugging into me.
Yeah, I sort of took that question as in the theory of quantum physics, and that what you send out, when you send a wave, when you send a feeling, an emotion, a love, a goodie, um, healing for the planet or whatever, and then you send that out, it creates a wave in the divine matrix, and then it always booms around. It goes around, it does its things and comes back.
Sure. When there's a couple that are in love, there's a interchange of energy. When there's a narcissist, the energy comes over the top of them, like trying to domineer them, right? So there's there's a lot of great books on it. My favorite's Hands of Light by Barbara Brennan.
Yeah.
Yeah, she passed away last year. And
I
also
didn't know
Light
that.
Emerging. But she has some great diagrams that show that. Like when somebody's trying to overpower you, it feels like their energy's coming on top of you. But when it's a healthy love, there's a reciprocal energy, right? There's a give and take with the energy back and forth. Hence why tantric sex works.
Right, exactly. And so are there any crystals or rituals that you do? Like you said, you do a shield and then you cut with the saber.
Yeah, and I hold that intention of protection. My energy is mine; it's back with me. Grounding crystals will bring me back into me. Like if I feel like I've been out there, like maybe I've been astral traveling with my guide, working on cleaning up the oceans or whatever in my sleep, and I come back into my body, and I like those grounding crystals around to get me grounded back into my body.
Right. And I tell people, do like you said, the beaded bracelets that have the black tourmaline and the amethyst. They're very protective.
Yeah.
And you can do your white light energetic bubble that could come out from your heart, go over your head and bring around under your feet.
Intention is everything. Like I've gone in a lot of haunted places. I've talked about this before on my channel, like Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, highly haunted, first prison in the U.S. First, it's like designed on a hub thing, like where there's a middle section and all the prison cells come off the main hub. It was built in like 1801. And it's been on all the ghost hunting shows. You see people, catching all kinds of EVPs and shadows and everything. I go in a lot of places like that, and I've never been scratched or clawed. Intention, that protection. I know that my guides protect me. I know that I am protecting myself, and I don't get messed with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you can carry them in your pockets too. You can carry.
I used to keep a tiger's eye in my pocket at work all the time as almost like a worry stone to help keep me grounded.
That's also a great one for negotiations. If you're going to go to court, you can use that. You need to bring a tiger's eye with you.
Well, my job in the corporate world, I've worked in retail in the corporate offices. I was negotiating prices all the time, with factories and things. So I had to do a lot of negotiating.
Right. That's why that one worked really good for you and you were immediately drawn to it. And I just want to help people understand, too, a couple of myths that I saw someone selling a crystal the other day on their channel. And I thought, my God, these people, they're just going to do anything to sell you something and tell you got to have a specific shape or it has to be a specific length or cut a certain way, and it's like, what?
I got from the little bitty smooth to the ones with the points on them, so I can like direct energy with the.
Yeah, and if you want to have something with points on the end, and you feel like that helps you point or direct the energy better, fine, do that. But really, it isn't about shape. It isn't about size. It isn't about rough or smooth. It's about your intention. The crystal is the crystal.
And for me, it's about also like when I'm working on somebody, can I comfortably hold it in my hand without dropping it? So they're like those little round balls, perfectly round spheres. I love those. They're like little crystal balls almost. I can't hang on to them in my hand. Like I drop them, so I like something that, maybe is a little bit flattened out, so I can hang on to it easier and I'm not dropping it. This one, it's not perfectly round. It's got an angle where I can catch my thumb on it and hang on to it. So
Nice.
try hanging on to a round ball like that. When you're working on somebody, you start dropping it all the time. So
And did we ask you exactly which? Can you name two of your favorites to use in your healing practice?
clear quartz,
The clear.
number one with whatever else I'm drawn to. Amethyst is number two because amethyst I find will work on almost
Right.
all chakras. But I have like citrine for
Hmm.
solar plexus. Rose quartz, even though it's rosy color, is great for the heart chakra. It's very calming. That's one of my favorites. Like if you're hyper, and you need to get grounded, rose quartz is a great one to have around. It's very soothing. You can feel it. Like wearing a rose quartz bracelet will keep you a little calmer.
Yeah, and self-loving too, self-supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you like to do you do remote healings for people.
Yeah, because it's working with the astral body and the physical body, and I'm using my astral hands. So I'm pulling energy in, and I'm pushing it down my arms and out my astral hands of someone. I can work on somebody all the way around the world. Um, or I can work in with somebody directly in front of me. A lot of times, if I'm working on somebody around the world, I can either reach my astral hands to where they are, or sometimes I'll pretend like they're right here in front of me,
Hmm.
and I'll work on them this way. Like, okay, let me go into their kidneys. Okay, let me go into their back.
Right, nice. I just wanted to say hi to Bathrobe Tarot Danny Shea. How you doing? Okay, so I did want to bring up just like you hold crystals in your hands. When I have a person on the table or I do healing with in person, I usually have them hold Lemurians, one facing in, one facing out, so that it's making a current through their.
Like a current. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this was one of the crystals that somebody was talking about on their channel where I nearly fell off my chair that I just wanted to help people with a little bit. And I know we're all earth angels and light workers, and I wanted to share this with everyone. I don't want to forget it during this program, and then we'll go on to some more of the questions. Lemurians are usually found. They can have another one attached to it, but it's in the same shape it is. It can be a baby, but they're usually found in a singular, in a singular fashion. And they're usually, a point, and they have striations, and they're either a Lemurian seed or a regular Lemurian crystal. And they have been, but all Lemurians are said to have come from Lemuria, and they were seeded with information for humans to find, to help, and earthlings especially, to help us heal the earth, heal one another and heal the earth. So I wanted to share that because we're all trying to, Jen and I were talking about what was happening
Climate
with
change.
Burning Man and climate change. So if you want to work, again, you don't need to have a Lemurian. It's about your intention and what you're sending out in a quantum physics way. However, if you want to just for fun, get yourself a Lemurian. You can, and some have a little bit more orange. There are some variations of colors and striations and how many sides and which ones are clear and which ones are frosty with the striations on it. And you can feel them like that. But they do have information in them, and they are very helpful for healing others, but most especially our earth. So you'll get some information from working with these. And I like to think that we're all working on the same thing together. And again,
I'm very drawn to Lemurian crystals. I have a couple, but they're in the other room.
this is the one that I most commonly wear, most of the time. And it's small. It's like a not quite 2-inch vertically. So it doesn't matter, so I think everybody would really benefit if you want to help heal the earth, which I know we're all working on, you might want to try working with Lemurians. All right.
I think it's interesting, like when you go in a crystal shop to see, what you're drawn to. Because usually there's a reason you're drawn to something. And
Right.
like when I'm doing healing energy work, I'm not always holding crystals, but 99.9% of the time, I'm not using a crystal when I'm working on somebody. But when I'm drawn to a particular crystal, it amazes me how I start incorporating it from time to time and the energy I feel off of it. For me, because I'm an energy healer and I channel energy, I can't stay in a crystal shop too long. Like I go in and it starts bouncing me off the walls because I start feeling all that energy in the shop from all those stones. And I'll take a break, go outside, come back in, try to keep at the register everything I'm going to buy. I'm like, okay, I have to step outside a minute. I'll be right back. But
It can
it's
be very,
interesting
yeah.
to see how they affect you, and how they resonate with you. If you're guided to something, that's the right crystal for you.
It is. It definitely is. And I owned a metaphysical store. I also managed a couple, and I had to write up crystal, all the properties of each crystal individually. And I found that everybody would find the one that they resonated with and that they were working in. However, for balance, if I had enough time and I was speaking with the client, I would have them go back through the store and say, now, which one of these crystals, out of all the crystals in the store, which one would you not give me a quarter for? Which one are you not drawn to? And then they pick it up, or they'd show me which one. And I'll say, okay, now pick up the paper that's written there and see what the properties are of this crystal. And it would be like, oh my gosh, this is something I'm working on. I'm like, you're not drawn to it because you're working on it and it doesn't feel easy.
Yeah.
So I like to have them pick out the one that does resonate with them, and then also find one that they were maybe even repelled by, because that's work to do on themselves.
Yeah. And I love how, a lot of crystal shops will have like little cards that tell you about them. And I love keeping them, like with some of them.
I would have people come in and just take the cards. I'm like, wait a second.
I printed all those.
The cards. Yeah, no, I did all the research on every single crystal in the store, like every single one, and all the properties, where to put it, what to do with it, what it pairs with. So when they would come in, but then I just got used to it, and it's like, and you just have to cut more cards.
Okay. I often wondered if it was other crystal shop owners coming and getting the information so they could replicate it for their own shops.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, let's see. Is there another healing question? Let me look at the.
What I find interesting too are the more translucent stones, or slightly opaque, to the more solid stones that I'm drawn to. This is blue apatite. Apatite? Am I saying it right? Apatite.
Yes.
I'm very drawn to it right now, and it just gets my creative energies going when I pick it up and hold it. Like I love to meditate with it. Ro, what's your favorite?
And that apatite stone, one of the, let's see, someone asked me about weight controller, helping you focus on your weight. And the apatite, the blue apatite, is one of those crystals. Yeah, so that's a great one to show.
It's spelled Apatite.
Yeah.
It's pronounced kind of like appetite, like exactly. your appetite.
Right. Okay, so Sandra Nevins asked a good question. Why did my tourmaline crystal break apart on my nightstand? Now, people will hold it and it'll break. Sometimes it'll break, or it will fall out of your pocket and it falls to the floor and it breaks. And I've always been taught and told that when it becomes a warrior crystal for you, then because it takes a hit for you, and it's either full and it needed to be emptied or cleared, or it took a hit for you. How do you feel about when a crystal leaves you, hides, or breaks?
Well, usually it's because this little thing right here called Roro has played with it, knocked it off my table as she's going through all my crystals here on the table that I pulled out. The only time I've broken one is when a cat has knocked it off the table. So maybe that's the universe saying you don't need that one anymore, or maybe it did take a hit for me. I don't know. But it's funny, like I've never The only time, like when I've done healing work and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't hang on to something and I dropped it, I was usually on carpet, so I've never shattered a crystal.
All right. Okay. This is a good one for
So,
you.
a question for you, Lori, because you work with crystals more than I do. When you use crystals in healing, are because the crystals to me are sending energy in like to a
Mm-hmm.
specific place. Are they also absorbing some of that person's
Absorbing.
negative?
Mm.
So should we be cleaning our crystals between each time we use them in healing?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, just like you do. I know you do that. Yeah. And I always have
Smudging.
a big bar of selenite at the person's head and then also at their feet. So I usually have a, very large right up here when they lay down and then
To
also at
absorb it.
the feet. Yeah, absorb, clear, cleanse, align, because selenite is like clear crystal and it helps just align too. Take it out.
But I think because they do absorb energy is why like sometimes like
Mhm.
my pendulum is not going to work for somebody else. If they want to try it out, like they'll borrow it and it doesn't work for them. It's aligned with my energy in a way.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to you have to program and set your own intention with your own. Here's a good question for you. How do you detach yourself from your guides giving you messages all day long?
Intention. Tell them to stop that.
Yeah.
It's like as a medium, spirits, people's departed loved ones coming to me in the middle of the night, or somebody that's earthbound trying to get into the light. I'm like, no, don't wake me up in the middle of the night. Don't you do that. Girl needs her beauty sleep. You want to come to me in the daytime, you can come to me. Boundaries, intentions,
Hmm.
and sticking to it.
Yes, I agree completely. Your guides, my guides, our guides, listen to us.
Yeah.
And you can tell them what times they're allowed to come and when they're not. Like I used to have such horrible nightmares when I was younger. They're not allowed to show me and then I ended up working in the emergency room. So don't ask me how this happened, but they're not allowed to show me scary things of people dying of a murder or blood, or they're not allowed to show me anything like that. They can show me an example of something else that I feel calm with and they know what it is. And if I don't want them to talk to me, I'm just like, out. It's no, just like you said.
Like, not right now.
Right.
I mean, sometimes like if you're driving somewhere and they give you a message like "watch out, watch out." I love those. I love those little warnings, like, "Oh, stay alert. Somebody's like doing something they're not supposed to around me." Um, I had a, a male friend that was driving when he was younger. Was driving across the country from Illinois here to Colorado, and it was like 2 a.m. and he was falling asleep at the wheel of the car. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, I felt a big old smack on the back of my head and I heard loud and clear, would you look at this idiot? He said, I woke up as I'm running off the road.
Oh my
I
goodness.
woke up. He goes, I got off the next exit and took a nap. you know. But he said, I
Incredible.
felt that smack and I heard that message. So, hearing your guides all the time is not a bad thing.
Right. Okay. I also wanted to ask you, uh, do you have any? Okay, she's asking about um, crystals for grief. Is there any type of healing technique or anything that you can suggest to help people maybe get past some grief or alleviate it?
Um, everybody is different in how they manage grief. Like I don't grieve as long as your average person because I have such a strong sense of they're still here. It's like I grieve a couple of days and I move on. Whether it's a pet or departed loved one. So I don't tend to grieve like normal people. Normal people tend to grieve for a while, and that's just a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and depending on how the person died can make it harder. Like if someone died in
Sure.
a tragedy or was murdered, I find it's much harder for the living to move on from that. Is it an unresolved murder? It makes it even harder, right? To move on from that and that grief and that pain. But grounding crystals again, grounding, keeping your energy your own. knowing that they're still there. It's just like a veil between you. It's a slightly different dimension. They're still there. You haven't lost them. They can hear you when you talk to them. You don't have to go to their graveside to talk to them.
No.
They can hear you talk to them all day, every day. Um, Taking baby steps is really important to me with grief. Like just getting out, going for a walk around the block, get a little energy moving in your body. Um, going out with a friend for a cup of coffee. That can be a big deal when you're just really down in the grief. Um, and that self love, because our departed loved ones want us to continue living our lives. They're going to help us
Exactly.
from the other side, and they're going to watch, and they're going to enjoy what we get into and everything. So they don't want us to stop living just because they're not here with us anymore.
Exactly. They don't want us to waste a second of our time.
So I'm going back to the rose quartz. You're talking about
Mm-hmm.
the self love and the calming and the soothing, but um, and amethyst, because I think amethyst helps with healing with it
Yes.
almost anything.
Amethyst is the go-to healer.
It's very powerful healing stone. It's the first crystal I ever bought besides a clear quartz was an amethyst,
Mm-hmm.
and that's before I knew, anything about crystals.
Yeah.
You know,
And I tell people, if you forget how to program or just set your intention, hold it, run it in some clear water, and it just does its thing. You can put amethyst in your bra, in your pocket, in your bed. I have it in my bed. Anywhere. If you've got a boo-boo, tape it to your body. It's. I have people put it on their knees in the office if they break, if they hurt their knee or bump their knee, we put it on there. So amethyst is a great healer. It's super duper healer.
I mean, sound is a great healer. I use Tibetan bowls myself sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people when they're listening to it to imagine you have ears all over your body, like you've got ears on your torso and your legs and your arms, and take the sound in through your whole body, and you will feel like which chakra it's hitting and where it's strumming, or if it's hitting
Mm-hmm.
multiple chakras. Same thing with like chanting music and stuff. If you
Mm-hmm.
listen to it, with ears all over your bodies, you'll feel it like strumming up and down your chakras.
Exactly. And you can do Tibetan bowls, crystal bowls, and there's endless amounts of them on YouTube.
I
You
mean,
know.
how many of us as kids would play with glasses and water, and run our fingers around them because that
Right.
tone just, you could feel the resonance in your finger when you'd rub it around a glass.
That is very true. All right, so let's take a fresh. Does anyone else have a healing question for Jen Lynn or myself? How do I? Oh, go back to the live. There we go. Yeah, and you can listen to solfeggio frequencies. Uh, those are the old Gregorian chants.
There's
Uh,
there's a great music thing on my channel in the playlist. If you go
all
to
right.
Metaphysics, um, Jonathan Goldman did some CDs with Greg Braden, and one of them's called "I Am," and the other one's called "The Divine Name." And the divine name, he's chanting Yahweh, but the way he's chanting it, going up and down Yahweh and up and down, you can
Mm-hmm.
feel it going up and down your chakras, and that's one of my favorite sounds to put on when I'm meditating, like in the bath. I love to meditate in the bathtub. Um, so I put that on, and it takes me to some very visual images and things.
Okay, Stacy B has a good question. Can the sound bowls make you break out in hives?
Um,
I think if you're off balance, it can scramble some of your energies.
I think you have to know, like, when you're having a skin reaction or something. Have I been out in the
Mm-hmm.
woods or something? Like you have to know like what you've been doing versus no. I was just in here playing with my bowls. Sound healing, yeah. Could it cause you if you're trying to break free of something? possibly.
It could be, yeah, it could be working its way out that way, or it could be a combination. But not, I've never really heard of anyone actually break out with hives, but it can make you.
I was going to say I've never seen that, but it kind of resonates with me. Like if you're struggling to hang on to something that needs
Mhm,
to break free energetically,
mhm.
I believe we have more than seven chakras in our body.
Oh
We all
yeah.
talk about the seven, and everybody talks about heart chakra, throat chakra, as if they're only in the front of us. They're in the back of us too. We have little chakras um, in our body on the front and back, and we never take care of the backside of us. I think that's why a lot of people plug into people across their back and stuff. Um,
Yes.
but I believe we have little chakras at every joint in our body, every knuckle. There's little bitty vortexes. The earth, has vortexes, right?
Mhm.
It has the grid lines, has the ley lines, and there's vortex areas where those cross. And to me, that's what a vortex is, like in Sedona. It's a chakra to the earth,
Yes.
exchanging energy.
Are you doing Sacred Sounds of Coffee anymore?
I'm not, because Jody has been in recovery. Jody Roberts, that I was doing those with, has
Oh,
been in the hospital and rehab center. She's having to learn to walk again,
oh boy.
and she's been going through a rough time. So I have not done them lately,
We'll send to her.
because she does the sound healing, and
Mhm.
I don't have my sound healer to do it with.
Right. Okay, let's see. Atha Volp has a health question. She put clear quartz in her drinking water from Ancient Lake. I don't know about the ancient lake water. I do drink water that I put a clear quartz into. I would not do it with your regular tap water, and I would do it with a smooth crystal. Something that has been polished, so you don't get shards
Yeah,
off of it.
a
Yeah,
polished stone.
something like that. Yeah, in your regular,
And don't swallow it.
right, in your, yeah, use a straw, or put a top
Yeah,
thing
you
with
don't
a
you don't
slit.
want to get like rough
No,
things. You don't want it slivering off into your water.
yeah, and then just and then again, you can charge the water and you can charge the crystal, and that will help you. But put it in purified water.
You can charge your bath water,
You absolutely can.
which is awesome. So you can if crystals are strong enough that you can put them in the bath water, you can actually put them in. I've done that before. I've sent energy into my bath water and charged it before climbing in.
Yeah, and I was always fascinated with the hidden messages of water by Masaru Emoto, and I would think, well, if you do that, and Greg Braden is great with this too. If you do that with irregular water, and we're made of water, and our cells are made of and we're so much water, I thought,
Hmm.
then you can hold yourself. You can, put your hands on yourself and hold yourself and think of loving things. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations. So if you can't love yourself, which some people cannot love themselves, we all struggle with it a certain way or another, but gratitude's easy. Easy.
Whenever I teach somebody how to do a manifesting, like a manifesting candle, I always say, come from a place as if you understand it's already given, but also from a place of gratitude. Like, say, thank you for my financial abundance.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I always start manifesting as if it's already here and from a place of gratitude. That's the intention.
right. Yes. Sandy Miller.
By
I
the
did.
way, I'm really big on working in conjunction to medical doctors. I believe they're healers too.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
if someone has cancer, I tell them, keep me posted. You do what they say. Like if you're doing chemo or radiation or whatever treatment they're doing, you do what they say. I'm going to work in conjunction with that. Um, so I
Right.
highly, don't ask me to work on something you're unwilling to go see a doctor about.
There you go. Okay, and then I just want to help with this. Larimar comes from the Dominican Republic. So it is a great one to help with emotions, but it only does come from the Dominican Republic. Okay, let's see. And it's that beautiful blue sky color. Let's see. Um, Here was one that Angela
Yeah,
has a
I was
health
just
question.
looking. This is a new crystal I got in Sedona last time I was there. Rondonite. Rondonite. It's like rose colored with a little bit of gold flecks in it.
Nice.
And it says it facilitates healing of the heart. So that might be a good grief stone also. Similar to rose quartz. It's got a
Mhm.
rosy color to it.
Is that crystal expensive? I'm not real familiar with that crystal.
It was not because yeah, I was traveling with stuff, so I wasn't buying any big,
Mhm.
crystals or anything. I'm pretty sure this was under $20.
Oh, okay.
And I
Cool.
want to say it was maybe more like 10 to 15.
Nice. Okay, and then Ange has a health question: sensory issues, loud noises from others, eating, drinking, make her want to cry. I'm going to go again with black tourmaline and obsidian. Those two. They're very protective. They help absorb. They protect you. Uh, Freddie Todd told me after we talked about Patricia and Freddie Todd that watch, that's a part of our families here. Um, he has a friend that is, sort of a Debbie Downer, and it's just always pointing out negativity. And he just comes home and his energy is like, And so he started putting obsidian and black tourmaline in his, and then it was just like, oh my gosh. And he came home and he didn't feel like that. So it's the same sort of thing.
The other thing you might want to do is find somebody to do a past life regression on you, because
Mm-hmm.
when you're triggered by something, there's something there, like whether it's from this lifetime or a previous lifetime. Um, Anytime you feel triggered by something, so if it's a loud noise, uh, maybe you died in an explosion or something at some point in some other lifetime, and therefore loud noises bother you.
Yeah, on that, yeah, that's good too. Diva is also reminding people that lepidolite is another one, a very soothing that may help with the bereavement and sad thing. Thank you, Diva 369. That's very good. Okay. Anything else on healing? Anybody have a healing question for?
Going to tarot for a second, because we're both tarot card
Okay,
readers.
sure.
Intention is everything. So
Mhm.
yes, you can program tarot cards, or sometimes a certain card will keep showing up for
Mhm.
you for something, like Trump showing up as the fool over and over. I never had a money laundering card until I started doing political tarot readings. When I was doing personal readings, I didn't get money laundering and stuff like that. Cards will start showing up that way for you. But you could also program your cards. If you want a card to represent something, just focus on that card and what you want it to represent. And as you shuffle, you're setting the intention of, I'm programming that card to show up that way for me. It doesn't mean every time it shows up that's what it is. You have to intuit. Is it showing up for me for that meaning right now, or is it showing up for me as its traditional meaning? You have to intuit that. You have to see which way it resonates with you. But um,
Yeah, and that's too that shuffling and working with your tarot cards to help you get an answer about something, even if you just like do card of the day or what do I need to know most, and you shuffle until one pops up, and that you are intending and programming your deck to work with you that way. And then somebody else is asking about curing lupus and some other crystals. It's go for the amethyst. Just go for the amethyst. It's inexpensive. It works every time. It's always going to help you. It doesn't fail. And clear quartz will do anything you ask it to. It will assist you in doing anything um, that you ask it to do. Okay. I wanted to answer one question from Mount. Let's see. Min, abundance for career. Uh, what crystal for career and abundance? So, um, I'm I tell people to go out in the street and face your residence. I don't care if you live in a tent, face your residence, and you will look at the back, the far back left-hand corner, and that as far back as you can go inside your house, that is your abundance corner. First of all, clean your junk out of there. Clean it. Clear the clutter. Clearing the clutter is going to help you manifest anything anyway much more quickly. But if you're wanting to look up in the Feng Shui, that's the corner you need to clear out. And then you need to put aventurine and amethyst in there, and that will help you. Okay. So I answered that.
Carol had a great question up here. I have to find it.
That?
Carol Bastian, are you able to tell what crystals each client needs and want?
We covered
is
that.
The best way to keep. Mm-hmm. I think, even for myself, there are certain crystals that I'm drawn to on any given day, and the next day it might be something else, so a lot of times somebody, what can help them, like, if I feel like they really need grounding, I'm gonna recommend they keep a dark colored stone around. But as far as, on a ongoing basis, it can change. It can change depending on what they're going through on a daily basis.
All right. And then what do you think about this one? Can you tell what makes a person not sleep well? Awake a lot. She's awake a lot.
There's several things. Are you a person that can't turn your mind off? When I was younger, I would get up in the middle of the night and do to-do lists for work the next day. Like, I could not turn my brain off. One of the things that I did was I asked Archangel Raphael to blank my mind out so that I could go to sleep. And it was like, bam. I don't do that. I don't stay up worrying and thinking and doing to-do lists and thinking, oh God, I should have done that today, and replaying the day through my head. I don't do that now. It's like junk. Sometimes, if you're waking up in the middle of the night, like jolting awake, you're probably out astral traveling with your guide, while you're sleeping. You come back in with such a force it jolts you awake. So there could be multiple reasons for that. Usually it's worry. If you're a worry wart, you're not sleeping well.
Yeah, that is very helpful, and I understand completely. So I know I'm old school, but that busy brain, like what you were talking about, I will usually before dinner. I try before dinner or just after, but way before I have to go to sleep. I try to make a list, of what I need to do, and then the next day or that week, of the most important things. That way, you have it all written down.
Yeah, and let it go. You got it already.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't, same thing as like, when I walk in a crystal shop and I get bombarded by the energy of crystals. I don't like any crystals in my bedroom. I do not. They make me bounce too much.
Wow.
And
I
will keep me awake. Now, a lot of people will keep like rose quartz or things like that are calming and soothing. I don't like any crystals in my bedroom.
Wow. I even have them in my bed, but I only have a few. I have the blue kyanite for dream recall, and because I'm a huge dreamer, that's how I got into this whole thing. And clear quartz, but I have amethyst actually in my bed because I just feel it helps soothe, calm, heal, Okay, so let's see. So clear your clutter. Let's get another good question here. Make to-do lists. Darren says that's probably an Aries thing.
But I'm an Aries, it's funny. Like I would do to-do lists, but I was doing them in the middle of the night. I could not, and like getting all wound up about work. And it was like, okay, I gotta detach from the corporate world in my home life. Something's going on here. Why am I triggered that I have to work overtime all the time and do to-do lists in the middle of the night? I had to dress myself,
Yeah.
By letting people pressuring me into thinking I have to do that. No, they're not doing that.
Okay. Do you have any advice for Lisa Sadler that says she's developed tremors in her legs? Do you have any healing hints to help her with possible tremors in
Well,
her
there
legs?
could be medical reasons for that.
Mhm.
So, get to a doctor.
A.
Okay. Um, for you can have issues in your sciatic nerve that can cause I have sciatic issues from being rear-ended in car accidents, and it can make the legs tremor. It can make um what do you call it, numbness and coldness,
Neuropathy?
neuropathy. It can cause neuropathy in the hands and feet. There are many causes. Do you have a blood clot? Do you have something else? Get to a doctor.
Need to go to
If
the
you got
doctor.
tremors, Parkinson's can cause tremors.
Yeah, that could be so many different things. But again, for healing, the easiest crystal to get your hands on is clear quartz and amethyst.
Mhm.
Amethyst for healing. I would use, if don't get it, you don't have to even ask about a specific part of the body. If you want to go in more depth with crystals and parts of the bodies or the different colors for the different chakras, go for it. But if you want to heal something and you just want to do it really easy, just get a piece of amethyst and start working with that. Okay. And then do you have any helpful hints for when you are sending out energy healing to one of your recipients and someone's asked you, Jen, will you please do a healing on me? What do you recommend they do? Do you want them to lie down? Do you want them to, do you want to send when they are asleep?
They don't
Or,
have to. For me, like, I can tune in to whether I'm doing a reading or doing healing. I tune into somebody by repeating their name. So Lori from the Way of Positive Change, and where they live, Florida, the state they live in. I don't have to say the city. I tune in that way. Some people tune in by repeating your date of birth. For me, I just repeat your name 3 times. Lori in Florida, Lori in Florida, Lori in Florida, and then I can feel when I've got you because my hands will tingle. The only thing that I have to make sure is that they're in receiving mode.
so how do you tell them to get into receiving mode?
If I start trying to send energy and it feels blocked, like I can't get it in there, then I'm going to tell them, okay, you're not in receive mode. I can't get the energy in. Usually, if I get them to state out loud 3 times, I love the power of three, saying it 3 times. I am allowing myself to receive the healing energy. I'm allowing myself to receive the healing energy. I'm allowing myself to receive the healing energy. If they say that 3 times, a lot of times that will release whatever they're blocking. People that are givers, that give and give and give, have a hard time receiving. And it's, they're very benevolent and everything, but they have a hard time accepting help from someone else. So twisting them around, getting them in that receive mode so you can get the energy in there. I have had a couple of people that I couldn't get in receive mode, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't work on you. I can't get you in receive mode. You're not. You're so. No, I have to give everything. I'm not allowing myself to receive. If I can't get them there, I can't get them there, and that's it. But
Yeah,
it doesn't happen often. Usually, when I'm working on somebody, like if they're on the table, on my massage table, I can a lot of times just tap their foot, like, put yourself in receive mode, allow yourself to receive, allow yourself to receive, just touching them and tapping them and making them aware of, oh, I'm blocking, I'm resisting.
yeah, that's fabulous. I try to tell people, when I'm doing readings for them, and they like, well, why won't you let this person help you? Like, well, I just don't. I don't feel like, well, what are they going to want? I'm like, well, sometimes, don't you ever give anything? You give all the time, and you don't want anything. Why would you rob that person from being able to give to you? And then I also say, you came into this world, and you have to inhale and exhale. Can you imagine if you only exhaled and you didn't receive the breath in? How out of balance you're going to be, so you have to
That's a
open your
great way to
mind
look
to
at it.
receive. Yeah. And practicing your opening to receive. And then I tell people to get this book or listen to this on on YouTube, even though it's usually
You are not put in this world alone. You are put in this world with what, 8 billion other people. So you are not meant to go through life where you're having to do everything. It's everything's about a give and take.
yeah, and that's a trust issue. And so, and then there's books like this by Catherine Ponder, Open Your Mind to Receive, and Catherine is with a C, not a K. And you can listen to it. It's like, you know, this said. And I got lots of little places marked there.
I had a hard time with that when I was younger. So, you know, it took me going through a sexual harassment issue at work when I was younger, and a vendor friend of mine offering me help. It took me going through that. He said, "You're not put in this world alone." He's the first person that kind of snapped me, got my attention. I'm like, oh gosh, why do I not let other people help me? You know, why am I so resistant? Like I've got to do everything myself, you know?
Yeah. And to be of service. So the person next to you also needs to do service. So you're going to
there's something that they're supposed to, you know, that they need to be able to give too. But if there's nobody that's going to receive what they're giving.
Right. That's such a helpful thing. Okay, let's see. How can you keep your mind focused when you have ADD? Do you have a good suggestion for that one?
It's a little retraining the brain. Thank you, Carolyn. Learning to, when you're squirreling, or, you know, ADD, it has different ways it shows up. Are you a perfectionist? Do you have a little of the obsessive compulsive, like you got to go wash your hands 20 times, you know, in a row? So depending on how it's showing up, sometimes redirecting the brain to get the focus back. There's probably more a therapist could give you to help you redirect the brain, reprogram the brain. So when I say reprogram the brain, it's like, if I have a negative thought, like, oh, I'm broke, as soon as I say I'm broke, I need money, creating need, I immediately replace it with, I am financially abundant. So reprogramming the brain, you know, as soon as I have a negative thought, reprogramming it. If you're jumping around and scattering, you know, learning to get in the moment, learning to just sit and get in the moment, you know, don't try to meditate for 20 minutes at a time. You don't have the attention span to do that. Go and sit like in a quiet place for 5 minutes and just get in the moment. And then gradually expand on that time, you know?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and the best crystal that I'm aware of for using for OCD or ADD is black tourmaline. It helps you get rid of or tone down obsessive thoughts or worries, anxieties, or repetitive behavior. So it's my go-to for that. So the big three that we've been talking about today are the clear, the black tourmaline, and the amethyst. And someone asked about putting a specific crystal.
That may help also with like addiction issues, like if whether it's food addictions, tobacco, you know, whatever addictions issues there are. Staying grounded, using black tourmaline to help you stay grounded, and
yeah, that's the go-to for the grounding, the repelling, you know, of the negative energy, the absorbing, the protecting, and it's a sponge, so it takes up some of that depression. Whisper to spirit tarot. It helps with alleviate depression. And the rose quartz, like Jen talked about earlier, with the self-love. And you know, I'm a big, if you're depressed, I'm a big yoga person. I think the breath work is phenomenal. Even if you are only limber enough to begin at the very beginning, which is what I did when I was getting back into it was restorative yoga.
Mhm.
But what do you think could be really helpful for
I mean,
depression as well?
depression, I mean, it kind of goes back to our conversation about grief at the beginning.
Hmm.
Yeah, getting in the moment. It's really hard when you're worried, depressed, negative thoughts, or you're grieving and you can't get in that moment. So if you can take 5 minutes might seem like a long time. Can you do it for 1 minute? Can you do it for 30 seconds? And then build on it. Just sitting and getting in the moment. If it's something as little as go buy a bouquet of flowers for yourself and just look at how beautiful they are, or walk in your garden and see a beautiful flower. Just that appreciation of beauty sometimes in nature um, will get you in that moment where you're not thinking about everything else that's causing the depression. Now, there can be chemical imbalances in the brain that cause that. So again, see a doctor. Why are you
Yeah,
depressed?
yeah,
Is it a temporary or are you feeling like you could harm yourself? Then you need to be seeing a therapist.
yeah. And if I feel myself thinking about something, if I'm upset with someone, or if my energy is scrambled or something, I'll do a gratitude list, because that it's impossible to be grateful, like you were saying, and feel down at the same time.
I had a client one time scheduled a reading. I get into the reading, and the reading was scheduled out like a month in advance. And I get into the reading, and they are having suicidal thoughts and
Mm,
things. And I said, "You don't need a reading. You need to be on the suicide hotline right now if that's how you're feeling. If
right.
that's how you're truly feeling. You don't need to be talking to me. You need to be talking to a hotline."
Yeah. And
So
especially if it's major
if
depression.
there's mental health issues going on,
Mhm.
you don't need a reading. And you don't
Right.
need to be contacting somebody that lives halfway across the country from you that can't do a damn thing to help you. I can't go to your home and check on you. So that bothers me when people put that on other people. It's like, no, you need to be responsible for yourself and your own energy. And if you need a therapist, you need a therapist.
Right.
They're healers too.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for, if you want to go test out crystals, try to support your local metaphysical store. Try to support someone that's local. If you don't have someone that's local, just um, order some basics online,
I
small, just some small tumble. But usually you can find a store not too far from you.
I always think it's really important, and it's just fun for me too to feel the energy off, whether it's a pendulum or a crystal or
Hmm.
whatever, and a polished stone versus the different cuts and the different ways that they do them. And to see what I'm drawn to, and then to read on the card what it helps with, and it's
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, okay, that's why I'm drawn to that. I just think it's fun that walking around crystal shops.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you never know what you're going to find,
Yeah.
right?
And you find somebody in the crystal shops that knows a lot about crystals. You can tell them, like, hey, I need a crystal that helps with this. What do you recommend? They have more expertise than like I do on crystals. I go by my feeling of what resonates with me.
Right. Also, okay, do you have any suggestion about how to, um, mountain dancer wanted to know, do you have a crystal or anything that could be helpful in building confidence?
Hmm. Confidence is like happiness. It comes from within. So if you love yourself and you feel you're worthy, and know, like, not feel, know you're worthy of love, you're worthy of respect, the confidence will come naturally from that. So if a lot of times if you're feeling a lack of confidence, there's a little bit of a lack of self-love. There's something in there you're kind of blocking, to me. that you're not allowing 100% self-love. Like, I love myself, warts and all, you know?
Yeah, that worthiness is a huge thing. You
Yeah.
know, working on your confidence and worthiness, and it's
And
like,
fake it till you make it. So you say, I am
right,
worthy of wonderful, beautiful things happening for me. I am, just keep saying it over and over and fake it till you make it, until you believe it and you feel it. You'll feel it in your heart when you're really, the mind connects to the heart, and what you're saying and telling yourself, you start to feel it. If you tell
uh-oh.
yourself, I, I'm a loser over and over and over, or nobody loves me, and blah, 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 blah. You tell that to yourself over and over and over, you feel that in your heart, and then you're depressed, right?
Yeah, yeah, be careful where you're pointing your words, because you're always going to go where you
the,
say you're going.
the
Yeah,
story you tell yourself.
right. And then gosh, I think that's so important. And then, you know, giving yourself some extra time in the morning or before you go on this chore or wherever you're going that you need to feel confident, to ground and, you know, do your breath work, to help yourself center, and to say these positive affirmations. And again, clear quartz, you can charge a clear quartz to help you, you know, work with anything you're wanting to work on.
You know, I always find in the corporate world, confidence, like the ability to get up and talk to a room full of 300 people. If I knew what I was talking about, and I knew it, like knew it inside, believed it, knew what I was speaking about, I could talk with confidence. If I was trying to bluff my way through something, I couldn't talk with confidence, you know, if I didn't have my facts and logic down and everything. So confidence comes from a strong knowing. And if you've got the logic and the knowing, the confidence is there. And so knowing that I'm worthy, knowing I'm respected, knowing I'm worthy of all these wonderful things happening to me. If you've got that, then the confidence will come.
Exactly. And then there's Louise Hay that, you know, studied science of mind. What's his name? Ernest Holmes, right? What's his name?
I have to back up a second to the ADD. I just
Okay.
noticed my green calcite says that it's good for ADD. um, I got it because it's good for cleansing energy,
Yeah, and it's good
and
for the
help,
heart,
good for the heart and good
the
for
heart
stress. But
chakra.
green
Yes.
calcite, it says it's good for ADD. So
Very good. Thanks for adding that.
I just noticed that on the card. I was like, oh, there's an ADD stone.
Yeah, and You Can Heal Your Life was Louise Hay's most famous book. And then, of course, she, you know, she made Hay House Publishing, but she became a practitioner for healing. And she made the movie You Can Heal Your Life after the book was the bestseller of like all time for metaphysical books. And so, but right now you can find it on YouTube. If you want to, I send the link to people all the time. And there's commentary there with Greg Braden and Wayne Dyer, and just a whole bunch of really beautiful, talented people. And it's a great movie to watch, and we forget about it. And so I think that's really helpful with all of this advice and the positive affirmations go on and on and on and on and on right now in that movie.
I think you have to remember you have free will. So yes, there are crystals that can help you. Yes, retraining the brain, to think differently can help you. But you have free will. You've got to take some baby steps, to move towards that. It's like when somebody, schedules a reading and they want me to pull a miracle out of the cards. It's like they want a new job, but they're not looking for one. I'm like, well, I'm not seeing anything here for a while. So what are you doing? Are you getting out there and looking? And then I'll try, looking again to see if I can get a timing on a new job or something. But if you're not doing something, I can't pull a miracle out of the cards.
Right. And so they do have to, and then they need the confidence. 2 crystals to carry and help inspire energy to your creative center in your body to find career new job would be fire opal, but my all-time favorite is carnelian for that. And then Sonia has a question. We were talking about this right before we started. Do you feel extra tired at this time?
Lori was talking about the supermoon, which I'd totally forgotten about. I have been so tired in the last week, like taking little 10-minute power naps between readings and stuff. That's not like me. I'm not a nap person. I've just felt like all of a sudden, like, oh, and I'm like, I don't know if it's all the planets that are retrograde right now, or if my guides are downloading stuff to me, and it's making when I go through periods like that, I get a little bit tired, and then I come out of it. But it'll hang on me usually for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I kind of come out of it. But I've been feeling it the last week, and I had a hard time getting up this morning. Slept in a little bit.
Good Karma is asking, will acupuncture help for sore and swollen arms and hands? Again, go to the doctor first. Go to the doctor before you even start acupuncture. You can use crystals, but go to the doctor. Go to the doctor first. Okay, and then we're going back to, yes, it is that full moon, that blue moon energy is just... I think it's a crazy, and I think it helps us dream more and astral travel more. And sometimes I go so many places, like that Dr. Seuss book, all the places you go. It's like, oh my God, how am I supposed
if you're jolting awake in the middle of the night, you've probably been out astral traveling with your guide.
How am I supposed to get up when I've been so busy all night, I don't know. All right, do you have any last minute helpful healing tip that you want to share, or do you want to pull a card for everyone for this Labor Day week?
I will definitely pull a card, but
okay, good.
Take care of yourself. Your health is important. I'm hearing Archangel Raphael. Your health is important. Your own physical body will sometimes respond to emotions and how you're feeling and thinking. So be gentle on yourself. Be loving of yourself. Respect yourself. If you respect yourself, others will respect you. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't love yourself, how can you get that from other people?
Exactly.
But let me see what else the cards want to say.
Okay. And then, remember, if you're not vibrating that and you aren't embodying those qualities, which we need to do first, we're not able to really assist anyone else with that if we're not, vibrating and wanting to work with our own health. And a lot of people that I read for are really struggling for that right now. We got to help ourselves first.
It's it's like on the airplanes, you put your mask on yourself before you put it on your kid. You got to take care of yourself first. I'm still hearing it, Raphael. We're here to have a human experience. We cannot stay in a higher vibration all the time. So like I raise my vibration before reading to tune into people's departed loved ones. The departed loved ones lower theirs to connect to me. Do I walk around in that vibration all day? No, I can't sustain that. We are not, sustaining. Can we get to other dimensions like temporarily, short term? Yes. But whatever goes up has to come back down. It's the balance. It's the yin, the yang, the balance of the male, the female. It's the balance of our own energies. We can't stay up here in a high all the time. It's not achievable unless you're a monk living in a cave. So yeah, you're going to have low days. You're going to have high days. You're going to have days in between. Flow is what I'm hearing. Flow. Learn to flow with the change of energies. Yeah, flow. Flow and heart-centered, being heart-centered, focusing on your heart chakra and where that love originates from. When somebody hurts you, it hurts your heart, right? If somebody says hateful words to you, it's like, oh, I felt that in my heart, if you feel somebody's love. You feel it in your heart, right? Like it's like, oh man, I feel it right there. Stay grounded, stay open. There's a lot of mysteries that we are not meant to understand. And pushing and bullying yourself, telling yourself stories is not going to help. We're going through. I'm getting all the queens here. We're going through this period of feminine energy on the rise, that nurturing energy, right? The masculine's the action energy. It sends you into action. It gets you moving. Like when I'm out working in my garden, I'm using that masculine energy, digging up, weeds and things. The feminine energy goes within and nurtures, like the high priestess. So goes to the self-conscious and nurtures. So know that we're all going through a shift, whether you're male or female. We're all going through this energetic shift with the age of Aquarius. That's a natural.
Right. Okay. So flow and care of self.
Flow with the shifts. Flow with it.
Flow with the shift.
And be gentle on yourself.
Right.
Think about an ocean. The tide comes in, it goes back, and it comes in, it goes back. The highs, the lows, the highs, the lows.
That's a wonderful message to end the program, and I think you gave out so much helpful information, especially on healing. And we're all working on that, and we're all working to raise our vibration. And
if people are interested in healing, I highly recommend find healers in your area, whether it's Reiki or whatever modality, the tuning fork healers, the sound healers, whatever. Go and experience it for yourself. If you enjoy it, if it resonates with you and you want to learn more, ask them if they teach. Most healers will teach. If it doesn't resonate with you, say, okay, I enjoyed that, but it doesn't. I don't want to learn that. Go and try something else. Just keep reaching out and trying different things.
Yeah, that's really wonderful advice. Trying out, and then you're supporting your local healers and metaphysical stores too. And I'm going to go with, I just want to remind everyone again, in case you joined us later, I'm reminding all of us light workers to, if you want to help heal the earth when we're going through climate change, to get a Lemurian crystal. It doesn't need to be big. It can be small. This is the one you'll see me when I'm doing readings, and most of the time I have it on. And this is seeded with, you can go back in the program and you can see where we talk about Lemurians and how they help earthlings to help heal our earth. All right, so I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you to the moderators, Lucky Girl and Patricia Frenzino and Sharon Stipe, and everyone. Thank you so much. And Jen,
thank you for inviting me, and thank you for all the wonderful questions to everybody in the chat.
Yes, thanks for the great questions. We really appreciate it, and you're just such a full of such great, helpful information.
Do what resonates for you. Obviously, I'm very opinionated. I'm an Aries, right? I say what I think. It's just out there. I do what resonates for me. What resonates for me may not resonate for you. So do what you feel guided to.
But your experience is astounding, really, and it's very helpful for other people.
You have to come from a grounded, healed place yourself, by the way, to be a healer. I think to be an effective healer. Or to be an effective reader. Even if you've got traumas and wounds you haven't healed from, you need to work on yourself before you try working on others. I've talked about this many times on my channel, and in Sacred Sounds of Coffee. I experienced child abuse. I'm the victim of nothing. Obviously I've healed a lot. I can talk about the fact that, in my family, we were beaten until we bled. We were lucky to live. We were lucky to survive. And I can talk about it because I'm neutral with it now. I don't send anger, resentment, fear, hate. I don't send love either. I'm the middle path Tibetan way. I take the middle path and I look at it as I experienced child abuse. I'm the victim of nothing. If you can't get to that place and you're in victimhood, you're going to keep being treated like a victim. So try to get neutral. Try to figure out what your traumas are, what's what's triggering, different traumas, because it'll keep coming up until you address it and get neutral with it.
Exactly. All right, you guys. Much love to you. Have a great rest of your Labor Day day, and have an enjoyable week, and go with the flow. All right. Thanks again, Jen Lynn.
Bye, everybody.